Okay. All right. So we are now live. So let's just wait for some people to join us before we get started with the conversation. We'll probably get started a couple minutes after 7:30.
Perfect.
Mm, let's see. I'm gonna grab my phone. BRB.
So Jessica, tell me about yourself.
Sure. So I go by the resume finesser and job snatcher. I empower professionals to snatch a seat at the table or to break it. My whole mission is to make sure that we're getting to the bag. That's something that has been my mission for the last couple of years, just because Black women, Black men, we never get the full bag. We never get all the perks, and we don't know how to ask for them sometimes. So that's where I come in and I shake up realistically and go into the corporate space as well, teaching corporate CEOs and things like that how to treat their employees. Because you're wondering about employee retention, but you're not treating them right. I don't want to stay if you're not going to treat me well.
Completely.
Yeah. So give me some insight to you.
All right, girl. Well, I was born with the gift of gab,
I heard that.
and found a way to also be born with the gift to hear that which is not said, and partner that up with the gift of gab, and makes for being a super excellent coach. So I'm a performance coach, and
So we're live.
yes.
I just wanted to make sure. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Today is our very first day of the SixFigure Summit. And I just want to thank Christine and Jessica so much for being here, for being a part of this conversation. And I know that it's going to be a good time. And the reason that I wanted to do the SixFigure Summit is because everybody is talking about six-figure income, but I do not hear a lot of people talking about six-figure wealth. And if I'm being honest, it's starting to piss me off because the math isn't mathing. I'm looking at the numbers. Right? Everybody's wanting to talk about becoming a millionaire. And I'm just looking like, are we going to keep playing in people's faces like this? Like, are y'all going to keep letting these people play in your face talking about hitting $1 million wealth when the vast majority, 78% of people in general and 81% of women are living paycheck to paycheck? Okay, and then when you look at the net worth statistics and you look at it for Black women and Black men, and even when you look at it for, all families across the board, the numbers are not adding up. And so I wanted to put something together where we say, you know what, making money is not good enough. Having a job, going to work every day, and getting paid a salary but having nothing to show for it or not enough to show for it is no longer good enough. That is not the standard that we're here to set. We're looking to see not just how much money you make, but how much of that do you actually keep? What type of legacy are you building? And how are you thinking and conceptualizing of these things? So when it comes to the SixFigure Summit, we're talking about six-figure wealth. We're talking about the money that is sticking to your bank account, because it doesn't matter how much money we make if we don't keep any of it, if we're not passing any of it down, if our children have to start at the same level that we did. And so that's what we're here to talk about today. And I knew that Christine and Jessica would be the perfect people for this conversation, because I know that Christine is going to come listening for where are you versus where you want to be and what are you doing to bridge that gap. And I know Jessica is going to come through with the hard punches, the real deal Holyfield, not holding anything back. And that's what I think is needed for this conversation, because as you can see, I get kind of passionate about it, because we have so many people talking about self-care and luxury and, all of this stuff. And I love it and I want it. But we can't all be celebrating before we get to the finish line. We have to stay focused on what is our ultimate goal? What is it that we're trying to achieve, and supporting each other to get there, and not creating these false ideals on what it is to love ourselves and what it is to care about ourselves and what it is to, all that good stuff. So with that being said, before we even get started, how would you guys respond to that?
I was moved because you're right. We get into these spaces and we don't fully understand how it is to have six-figure wealth, but we just want to hit six figures in theory, especially with as a job seeker or job snatcher, whatever that may look like for you. It's like, oh, I hit six figures, but you're not really bringing home six figures. Hate to break it to you, but there's a lot of reality around this. So I'm really glad that they're having this discussion. I'm starting to get fired up.
Oh yeah, and I'm over here. I may not look like it, but I am. Tasha, the ears are burning, and you're totally spot on. Looking at where you are versus where you say you want to be, right? If you look at your spending habits, if I look at my spending habits, I would be in a lot more trouble if I actually had six figures. So this is a whole new domain. I don't know what makes us think we know how to play in this domain the way we are operating now, because the way we're operating now isn't even generating us inside of this domain. So keep pulling at that thread.
I really get the question that you asked, what makes us think we know how to play in this domain? It's like, okay, just because you might be making semi six figures, or you're making six figures, or you just have money coming in. When you start to get to a new level, you got to know that requires a different type of level up. So I know that we already jumped in the conversation. I want you guys to know that that's what this conversation is for. But before we go any further, first of all, my name is Tasha. I am the CEO and Chief Coach at Goddess Day. And we are a company that is designed to help you increase your net worth to six-figure and beyond levels. And we work with working professionals who have money coming in, but they don't always know what to do with it. So this is definitely my wheelhouse. And Christine, I would love for you to introduce yourself, and then you, Jessica.
Certainly. So my name is Christine. I'm a performance coach. I've been training as a coach for over 7 years now. The pandemic literally just cuts out a whole year of your life. I swear. Right? I've been a performance coach for 7 years now, and I do own my own coaching company, .com Coaching. And I work with individuals from, business level CEOs to moms to college kids wanting to be on the dean's list. Literally, whatever you want to do in your life, I'm there to partner with you and coach you along the way. Jessica.
Ooh, love it. My name is Jessica Williams. I'm known as the resume finesser and job snatcher. I empower professionals to snatch a seat at the table or to break it. And that looks like so many different things. I've helped professionals gain $217,000 in salary increase, equity options, bonuses, sign-on bonuses, a lot of things that we don't know that we can ask for. So my whole goal with my company is to make sure that you know what you can snatch and what you can ask for, and to feel comfortable and confident walking away when you're not getting what you need.
I love it. How do you have the people who work with you feel comfortable asking for what they deserve?
First and foremost, I ask people off the top, you have to have 3 salary numbers, right? If you can't tell me what your 3 salary numbers are, I already know you're not ready. You have to give me your hell no number, I'll walk away right now number, and we can work with this number. If you don't know that, I coach you through figuring out, how could I feel comfortable leaving my cushion job to go take on a space where I don't know what the heck it's going to look like. I don't know if they're going to treat me well and how long I plan to stay. So we go through and we figure out, will I be happy with the $217,000 job? And if so, how long am I going to stay? What is that going to look like? Am I going to grow? Because, once you hit 6 figures in some companies, your development stops. So you're done. Like, that's it. Like you've hit 6 figures, but now you don't know how to level up as a professional because we keep growing, but you think you've tapped out. No. So we go through.
I'm glad to have you guys here, because I didn't even know that. I haven't been in corporate America in like 10 years. Like, that is not my industry. So I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I didn't realize that the development could tap out at some point.
Absolutely. Especially if you don't negotiate that when you go in the door. Like, am I going to continue to develop? Will you send me to conferences? Are you going to get me a coach or a mentor who can help me develop along the way in this role? Because we get put out there and then you're just left to hang and dry. That's not how it works. You got to negotiate your development, your growth, And then I'm going to figure out, am I going to stay for a year? Am I going to stay for 2 years? How are you going to keep me? I'm the gem in the sea of rocks.
I love it. So that's like, I want to have our conversation get there. So when I want to back up a little bit and look at, one of the statistics that I recently started looking at, it's actually two of them. The first one is that Black women earn 63 cents to every white male dollar. Now, that is ridiculous, egregious, immoral, and everything else, every negative word in the book that I could think of. Like, it is jaw dropping. It is astounding. My heart kind of drops into my chest to imagine that just because you're a Black woman, you're going to make 63 cents to every male dollar. The other thing I want to put into perspective is that women overall are living, 81% are living paycheck to paycheck. And if that's the number overall, you got to know that that number is likely even higher for Black women because we make less and we spend more.
Yeah.
Really.
So, Christine, I want to ask you, what would you say to women, Black women, everyone really? What would you say to them when they're thinking about what career they want to go into in the first place? When they're thinking about their education and their next steps in life, and they're at that place where they feel stuck, they're not making the money that they want to make, they're living paycheck to paycheck, they don't know what to do next. What would you say to them?
Yeah. So, super loaded question, Tasha. I'm gonna slowly unpeel it, but fast, right?
Okay, great.
So, so the first thing is similar to what Jessica says. I ask them, all right, how much time do you have left at this place wherever you are? Do you have a month? Do you have 3 months? Do you have 6 months? Not as far as how if they're keeping you, but for yourself with your soul. How much time do you have left at this job or at this place or wherever it is that you are? And then we work inside of that time frame. Now, the other thing is most people, just like how Jessica said, when you ask them, if they say, I say, what number would have you say? If they say there is no number high enough, I say, then what are you doing? You already have your answer. But something's buying you off staying there, right? Whether it's the pay over your health, because the stress level is enormous. Either way, so that's one of the very first things. I actually have them confront that right there. Because if they don't, they'll take it wherever they go.
When you say confront that, what is the that?
The thing that they're willing to settle for.
Okay.
Where they are in their life, right? Like when you go and you even buy shoes, in that moment, while you may be satisfied, you're settling for something. Especially if that's something that's out there in your future is wanting to be a homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yes.
settling for something in that moment that's pulling you to buy the shoes, eat out, do whatever in this example, or stay at the job that's obviously not a fit for you. There's something you're settling for in that moment. And 9 times out of 10, Tasha, it's exactly what you said, because we're already living paycheck to paycheck. We don't even see enough space to breathe, to leave. Because if we don't get that next paycheck in 2 weeks, bills don't get paid. That's the reality of living paycheck to paycheck.
And so you want to, people have to get for themselves before they start looking at anything else.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you're settling for?
Yeah.
I really love that conversation because it has you, like, it stops you dead in your tracks, because it's like, once you get what you're settling for, it just gives you a sense of freedom to now be like, okay, now that I don't want to settle for that anymore, now what?
Yeah. And then when we get into the now what, my next question, whatever, I'll give it to you. I'm gonna give you all my goods, right? My next question is, what's something that you don't need an alarm clock to wake up to do in the morning? and let's find out how to get you paid doing that.
Okay. I
And that's
love
the
it.
creation.
Ooh, now I can already hear that people are going to start having doubt creep in about that. How can I just get paid doing what I love? Is it really possible for me to create a career around doing something that I don't even need an alarm clock to wake up for? So as you start to see those doubtful thoughts creep in, I want you to find a way to just ask them to be quiet right now. Right? Just ask them to settle down, pipe down, because you have some exploration to do. You have some exploring to do. So, Jessica, where would you go with that conversation? So, women are making less and spending more, and they're at a place where they're not quite sure what to do next. How would you have them become the architect of what that future could look like?
So first, I would say, and very similar to Christine, I asked them the same question. What's going to make you wake up Monday morning and say, I'm on my ish, like I'm going to do this. But next, I need to ask them, how fed up are you? How tired are you of waking up and doing the same thing every single day, not being valued, not being given the voice to really sell yourself at your company or in your role? Once you hit that top tier level of annoyance, anger, and irritation, then we can move forward. Because then you start to think like, dang, I'm sick and tired of this. What could I do differently? Even I tell people to look at tech. Look at tech. You don't have to be a techie to be in tech, but we get so confined in the space. Like, oh, I'm just good at customer service. I'm just good at this. I can only do this.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remove the self-doubt from this conversation, just like you mentioned. Those conversations that pop up, oh, I can't do this. I can't be happy. I can't do something I love. I try to get people to navigate the fear, the self-doubt, and then let's jump both feet in. Do something that you're not comfortable doing. Do something that you researched on PayScale or LinkedIn. And you know what? That title reached out to you. Let's figure out how you can align yourself with that role. And you may not have 100% of the skill set, but you can learn it. You can advocate for yourself to get the development. And that's when becoming your own advocate comes into play. So there's so many pieces to it. Oh, so many pieces to it.
And I'm getting so much, and there's something that you said too that made me, when you said let's jump with both feet in. There's often a place where, maybe you're not angry and irritated yet.
True.
Maybe you're not sick and tired yet, but I also want you to pay attention to where you feel complacent, where you feel the comfort zone is killing off your potential, because you feel like there's something greater that you could be doing, but you're too comfortable to actually seek it out. That's the other part. I always tell people the comfort zone is a future killer. And the worst part about it is that it feels good a lot of the time.
Yes.
Comfort zone, it is so alluring, and it will pull you in and ensnare you. And next thing you know, you have settled for a future that you never even wanted for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to be willing to jump with the both feet in something that you are not comfortable with, and something that you just researched one day because a title stood out to you. And one of the things that you said was, we can figure out how to align you with the roles that stand out, because a lot of times people don't think that they are aligned. So, all right. So we got to the point where, you can start to have people see that there's something new and different available to them, where they may not have seen that before. So you're at this crossroads, and you don't have to pick the boring, monotonous, paycheck to paycheck, humdrum life. That doesn't have to be your portion and your future. You can actually create something different. One of my mentors told me, she said, you're one handshake away from a different future. I like to tell people, you're one skill set away right? You are one research session away from changing your life. You're one something away. And you just have to figure, do you need a new skill? Do you need to get to researching? Do you need to hire somebody to do your resume? What is it? And the easy answer for a lot of people is I need to go back to school. So, Jessica, I want you to kind of look at, for a lot of people who are looking at jumping into high paying careers, how do you advise them around going back to school?
So it definitely depends. You may have to go back to get a certificate. It may not necessarily be a degree, but be open to the process. As somebody who coaches a lot of executives into different spaces and mid-level into executive roles, I don't have a degree, but I will say that if I had one, I think my credibility would have went differently. Although I've had to build it, by the bootstraps. But if you go back to school, go with the intention, like, I'm going to school to get this degree and I'm going to be an executive role. Set a date, set your date, and start applying for those roles, even if you haven't completed your degree yet. But let them know that you're in progress. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm getting ready to bring. So when you bring me on board, this is what you get. There's nothing wrong with going back to school. I think we start to think, oh, I'm getting old, or that's what I think. I'm getting old. I'm not going to do it. So what? You'll be old anyway. Right. So either way it looks, you go get the degree if it's going to make you more confident. Is it always necessary? No. But if it's going to add confidence to you as a professional in your development, by all means, go for it. But just make sure you research and you get a mentor before you go and grab this degree. A mentor in the space that you want to go to. So if you have an executive role, maybe you want to be a CIO of a startup, find a CIO of a startup, figure out what they did first before you waste money, waste time, energy, and effort.
Word, that last part though. Anything you want to add to that, Christine?
No, I just, we have someone with us on Facebook Live, Christine Marshall. I just want to acknowledge you, Christine Marshall. Thank you for being with us live on Facebook.
How did you
We are managing the chats, everyone. Tasha, I'm executive producer too, girl. So
I didn't even see that.
There are right now 3 people live with us on Facebook. Y'all, I am managing the chat. So if y'all have something you want to say, you want to ask, you want to engage with us, you are more than welcome to. Tasha, I got you. Hi, Christine. Hi, welcome. So that's what I got to say, Tasha.
And Christine,
if you do have a question, hi, Tasha's mom.
So, and I just wanted to add on to that, especially with that, in that last vein of, making sure that you're not wasting your time and wasting your money. I would say where I would go first is actually the certifications. And it really does depend on like what it is that you're doing. And a place I recommend to look is payscale.com. And you want to look to see for your particular job, what is that degree gonna do for you? So you can start to see, okay, if I get this degree, how is that gonna impact the potential salary that I could get? If the degree is $100,000 and it's gonna increase your salary $3,000 a year, and I see that a lot. I see that a lot. So you wanna, is this a technical area? You want to just make sure that you are being mindful of what type of education goes into what type of roles. So the next thing I was looking at is I was looking at what are the top roles that Black women typically find themselves in. I had it pulled up. Let me see if I could find it. Yes. So the most popular jobs for Black women were CNA and home health aides, which have a salary of $28,000 a year. Registered nurses, which have a salary of $65,000. Secretary and administrative assistants, which have a salary of $38,000. Customer service reps, $32,000. Elementary and middle school teachers, $48,000. Personal care aides, $23,000. Social workers, $44,000. Maids and housekeeping, $21,000. and med licensed practical and licensed vocational nurses, 41,000. Now, this is a little bit different from the most popular jobs for white women, which elementary and middle school teacher, 51K, registered nurse, 64, managers, 80, accountants and auditors, 66, first line supervisors and office admin support, 50. So there's definitely a salary shift there. So Jessica, I wanted to ask you, what do you see that's from like the type of roles that you see your clientele navigating out of and into more lucrative positions, if that's something that you're even seeing?
So I'm going to tell you what I have been seeing a lot of is Black women, because I do work with a lot of Black women, are shifting out of DE&I spaces because, during the panini we were in, or we're still in, a lot of companies were all about DE&I and, oh, we're going to change the culture. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You hire a bunch of Black women and then you don't use their voice. You don't use their advice. You're not using their expertise. And so they're shifting out and they're going into roles into tech. I'm going to always talk about tech because we're leaving these helping other people roles like D&I, and we're going to go do something that we don't have to be bothered. Because you bother us and you don't use our advice. Then what? You're making all of my expertise just sit there. So then I'm going to go sit there and make 6 figures and be unbothered. So that's the unfortunate part. They did all this talking about companies being diverse and your leadership panel still looks the same. There's nobody who looks like us on your panel. So why would I stay? So a lot of my clients are jumping out of DE&I roles and jumping solely into consulting roles as well. Sure, I'll come consult your company, tell you what you could do. What you do from there is your decision. Instead of having me on a leadership team and you're not using me. Women are fed up. Black women are fed up.
So they're moving into more consulting roles instead of actually being
consulting roles. Yeah, consulting roles. And then they're finding non-techie roles in tech industry and tech companies, like maybe success managers and things like that. That way they can still make bread and be unbothered.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And it's becoming more frequent because now companies are being put on blast. So when we started, it was, oh, shoot, we're going to change our dynamics. Our employee engagement is going to increase, but you never change anything. You have the same white board. You have the same white leadership team. I don't trust you. So people are leaving.
And have you seen any women in particular moving because of low wages and wanting low wages?
Wanting to leave companies because of low wages?
Yeah. So for some of the fields that I see is a lot of my clients, they started off working in call centers and now they're moving into tech. Right?
Oh yeah,
so
definitely.
It's another so I see a lot of Black women working as CNAs, home health aides, and what was the other one I just said that they're moving into tech from? Call center jobs. And they don't pay enough. So a lot of what I'm seeing when I'm having conversations with women who are bringing in consistent money, they're making $40,000, $50,000 a year, but it's not enough. That is not enough to sustain an adult household. And so I'm saying, like, I don't want to see, no more CNA, like no more call center. No, like that is not the move. No more home health aides, no more of these low paying jobs. Instead, looking for how do you skill up? So, Christine,
I'm sorry. Jump in real quick. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to mention that a lot of the times we stay in roles like that because we don't know how to use our cross-industry skills. So we don't think that a CNA can go into and be a recruiter or a sourcer or anything like that. We just get pigeonholed. So that's a lot of the reasons why people don't leave, because you don't know what your cross skill set could be. That's where having a mentor or doing the research on LinkedIn or, like you said, pay scale comes in handy, because I had just pinged with me that's where a lot of my clients don't thrive in, because they don't know what goes with what. because it doesn't perfectly align. Sorry.
That's perfect. That is so, so perfect because that's where the doubt comes in. And that's exactly why people are staying in those jobs. And that's why, it's like you have to be willing to ask for help and not try to do everything on your own. Because guess what? Jessica actually does know how to help you transition into a six-figure career and what that ladder looks like. Christine actually does know how to help you get the job that's going to light you up, right? Like if you're trying to figure all of this thing about life out on your own, you're going to have a hard time. And that's the same. I see a lot of my clients who are making money. They're trying to figure, or before they became my clients, they're trying to figure out how to do it on their own. They're trying to figure out how to manage the money, how to grow the money, how to invest the money, and then wonder why they're not successful. But it's like, that's not your job. That's not your area of expertise. Let somebody, and it's like, yes, you're going to have to spend some money. Yes, Jessica's services cost money. Christine's services cost money. Y'all know my services cost money. But when you invest in these types of things, it'll change your life forever. The dividends are something that's going to continue to pay out year after year after year. When you go from being somebody who was working in a call center or, somebody who was in a lower paying job to somebody who figures out that a light bulb goes on and they're actually worth a six-figure salary and they can actually build a six-figure net worth, you got to know that that's a different trajectory right there. That's a different bloodline right there. That is a different type of legacy.
Completely.
Like you just changed up the whole thing. And it's worth it. Olaje said, thank you all. This is confirmation. Newbie in tech realigning to focus on one niche, software. I now have a cert for and getting a position based on that niche and upskilling along the way. Just because you start out as a newbie, you're not always going to be a newbie. So I'll let somebody else take it. I don't even have a question. Anything else that you guys want to add?
Yeah. It's so perfect. I literally just got off the call with someone this week. Young lady lives here in Atlanta, Georgia, down in College Park. And Tasha, I swear you probably were like a fly on the wall. Are you like a superhero? Can you morph or something? Were you in my house?
I am a superhero.
I do know. That was a trick question, just so. But literally, she exactly what you said. Here's the thing. This woman is trained in the know-how of the IRS. That in and of itself, I'm like, how come you're not? What? But and exactly what you said, Tasha. She said, I have all these different separate trainings, but when I look at what I have nothing. And I said, that is a lie. You see, here's the thing, right? And I love part of my coaching style is I coach in analogies and metaphors, because when you can get the world of an analogy and a metaphor, you own it. And then you can use it to distinguish things in life to give you power, right? So when you look into your refrigerator, if you are a young college kid and you open up the refrigerator, you probably see lettuce. If you're at your mom's house, if you're at your parents' house and you're a college kid, you probably see lettuce, tomatoes. You might see some cucumbers, some, raw chicken breast or something like that, salad dressing in the door, whatever. Mom, there's nothing to eat. What are you talking about? There's food right there. Because you see, when a mom looks at a refrigerator, she sees a grilled chicken salad. That takes less than 10 minutes to make on her George Foreman or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know, like whatever you cooking on, right? But it's where she's looking from. See, some people look at the individual things. Like this woman was looking at her individual trainings as individual trainings. I'm about to get with her and create a recipe that's going to have her make a Thanksgiving feast. You know what I'm saying? Like in July. All right. Like we're about to have Thanksgiving in July. Right. But like what is what I'm hearing and what you're creating, even inside of that is It may even be like all of those things you listed require a lot of training, medical training, certifications, licensing, right? So it's not like these women are picking low hanging fruit jobs, but there's something they're settling for in the moment.
Oh my God.
Right? That is such an injustice to who, like, the potential, right? And somebody else has something, the gold change society. It says, yeah, that's where I'm at with it now. It took a long time to get here. Thank you. Then another 100. All right, we got 100. Facebook, they're beating you wherever. I think this is YouTube. YouTube's beating you, Facebook.
Oh,
Facebook
I love it. It's harder I know it says like it's harder to see the Facebook profiles on here, but I love that. And the reason, what that makes me think about, Christine, is the language that we use to describe these jobs and create them in a way that makes them seem as if they are low wage jobs and make them seem as if they're low skill labor. But like, no, but like, if you've been working in the call center, I know you know how to deal with people. I know you know how to manage yourself. You know how to stick to a schedule because they're not letting you go to the bathroom except for 5 minutes. So I know that you know how to stick to a schedule. Like, and so you have to be able to see yourself beyond the role that you're in. How can you see yourself beyond the position that you have right now and start to create an image of where you want to be and use all of that stuff that you have to build a bridge? And I think I may have gotten that language from you, Jessica, last time we had a conversation, but I know you have some language around taking your skill sets and transferring them. You know, using your transferable skills to make you, what's the word I'm looking for? To make you
marketable, to make you
marketable.
Yeah, to make you marketable. So a lot of the times you just want to leverage what you do have. A lot of the times we focus on what we don't have. Like, oh, I don't have this. Okay, but what do you have? How can we lead with that? So lead with the skills that you do have. If you mentioned a call center, so you already know how to problem solve. You are a chaos resolver. So go in there and let them know that you're going to come in here. You're going to resolve the chaos in this department. I'm coming to streamline success. You have to look at it differently. And language is everything. Like my therapist told me today, language is everything. So as you move forward, look at other people's profiles. What languages are they using? So if you're good with customers, you have people management skills. If you're good with customers, you're able to communicate internally and externally, because you got to internally deal with the people here. You got to externally deal with those butt faces out there. So if you can do both, you're leveraging a skill set that you haven't put a full name on yet. Let's put a corporate name on it. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't have that. Yes, you do. You just have it in a different form. It's not always going to look how you need it to look. But just like Christine said, it's perspective. So if I come in and say, dang it, you know what? I don't really talk to stakeholders. No, but you talk to managers and you communicate with people outside of your department. Look at the full picture. Give yourself a shot. If you're already shooting yourself in the foot, like, damn, this is a good job, but I don't have everything they need. No, don't shoot yourself in the foot. Come in, leverage, show them what a badass you are. Show them what you bring to the table, how you're going to shake it, and then leave with them feeling like, damn, I got to talk to her again. I got to talk to him one more time. Hold on. Then you know you've grabbed them. You've snatched them. You've given them this energy and vibe that they didn't know they needed until you walked in. So that's the language. Rock with yourself. That's the biggest thing. Rock with yourself.
And we say it like it's so easy, right?
I know.
But we know
it's hard. It's hard. You got to be your own best friend. You got to be your own hype woman or man.
You do.
And really, you have to learn how to manage yourself when that is not what's happening, right? Because we're all dealing with, self-doubt that pops up when you see somebody who is like super confident, please know that they have self-doubt too, but they know how to deal with it. They know how to manage it
Yes.
in a healthy way so that it doesn't take over. So when you have self-doubt, I'm like, oh man, I know I'm not worthy. Like, all right, I'm not feeling worthy. What do I need to say to myself to remind
Ooh,
myself of who I really am?
call me. Call on me. Tag me in, coach. Tag me in.
That we in. And
Right?
same for
Look.
me. Same for me. It's like I'm gonna speak
mm,
life right
Yeah.
into you so that get you clear, right? Get you
Yeah.
clear and right together.
So clear. It's so right together. And it's it's so, look, no different than, we know that when you grieve there are signs of grief, right? The stages of grief that you go through: denial, anger, right? Whatever they are, I can't but you. So when you're grieving, oh, all right, I'm in grief, okay, here I am. It's literally like a roadmap that gives you a sense of where you're going, right? One of the things I so love when people are doing that, I always ask them, well, what the hell are you actually comparing yourself to? Is it your imagination? Like, where you think, is it something that even in reality? It's like me comparing myself to Jessica Simpson, talking about why won't my hair do like hers? Like,
But wait,
seriously though.
but wait, because if we look at the people who have the job, it's just we act like we just gotta be all that in a bag of chips. But then when you look at it, just
It's giving mediocre. It's
and
giving.
it's like, but don't nobody feel no way about it. Nobody feels
Mhm.
no way that Katie was mediocre, and it's like, why do we feel like we have to be like off the chart spectacular?
Because that's what we're told. That's what we're trained. So we
Mhm.
get into these corporate spaces, and is it doing half of what I'm doing? I'm
Yeah.
excelling, I'm making change, I'm creating
Mhm.
an impact, but yet all you have to do is show up Monday through Friday. I'm expected to show up, show out, put in, put out. And that's the only way that we're able to scale, right? And we're still scaling at a very minimal rate.
It's one of those things that you can even hear in what you just said, the past baseness of that. Like, when when black people were actually able to work and even get paid, no, you relish that job. You don't talk back. You make sure you work. Look, that's as far back as my father's grandfather. That's how close that conversation is to us, right? So it's so much more than just like, it's so bigger as far as like what there is to break through the impact of being a person in America raised in this culture and this conversation around race. Because, and look, here's the thing, they had it good for them, and then we kept doing it. Look, if you're going to keep giving me the discount for your Labor Day sale that ended, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to tell you you're not charging me enough money. I'm going to keep getting the sale. So it's like we're still giving them our labor for sale for cheap, but we don't have to do that anymore. That's so not how it is today. But you want to that's what I say. Like, what are you even comparing it to? Because reality we're talking in right now isn't even really there. Slavery's not happening right now. Yet we keep tolerating and putting up with and accepting and settling for what people are willing to hand us.
I don't think I'll ever be the same after you saying that we continue to give our labor on discount, even though we don't have to anymore.
Hmm.
I don't think I will ever think about my labor the same again. But it's really just a self-worth conversation. It's really about your self-worth. How are you going to show up? Like Jessica said, give yourself a chance, rock with yourself. Because like Christine said, it's like if you're giving the discount, nobody's gonna be like, excuse me, I think you want to show your value to yourself.
Right. Never.
You can't expect people to do that. You have to be the one that's gonna speak
Mm-hmm.
up. So I really love how this conversation has gone. And I hope that as people listen, they can see themselves breaking through. right? They can see themselves breaking through where they are so that they can actually get to where they want to be. I love that. 802 said, yeah, that was whole mind and heart blown. And that's really the intention of this space, is to get that. It's just like what you guys are saying. It's beyond. It's so much further beyond what, like a resume. The work that you guys are doing is beyond just a resume. It is helping you see what's possible for your future and getting you to stand there before you really stand there so that you can stand there. Like, so the question that I have for you guys now is, I want you to wait. Let me think. See if I'm ready to shift yet. Yeah, I'm gonna shift, but I might shift back. So, what for you guys, right? We're talking to people about their income and their career. For you, I would love for you to share, like, what's your biggest income or career struggle right now? Because I want the people who are listening to know, like, we're really in this together. What's your biggest income or career struggle right now?
Oh, that's a hard question, but it's a good one. I'm just gonna jump and say, to be very transparent, like my first quarter has been better than my last year. So that was by accident. I never really figured out how to be consistent until recently, which was so strange. But I guess hitting this 5-year mark, I'm like, okay, cool. I've always been like, dang, how am I going to get my next client? You know, you're a risk taker anyway, being an entrepreneur. But taking a step back and letting your clients work for you, as shifty as that sounds, has made such a dramatic impact. But my past, like, career struggle was getting consistent clients. Like, you get lucky and get like 4 or 5 big clients. You're like, all right, cool, I'm smooth. And then here come a couple months, like, damn, where are they coming from now? So it's just control. My biggest career, like, dilemma is just control. Like, I want things to work how I want them to work, when I want them to work, and how frequently. So I'm a control freak.
My biggest issue right now, I think, is figuring out how to scale. And what people don't want to tell you is that when you're trying to break through generational curses or trying to do something that nobody before you has ever done before, there's going to be ups and downs. So even as it's like, when I'm trying to scale, sometimes that means that I'm not focused on revenue generating activities because I'm focused on a different area of my business. And then, you know, it's not producing where I want it to produce. And, you know, I can see all the growth, right? I can see the growth. I can see where it's going, but it's such a struggle to not be where you want to be when you can see the vision. So that's my biggest struggle right now is, you know, figuring out how to scale, putting the team together, having the team work, having the team do the work that you used to do, right? Like having the team work, but actually being able to let go of the stuff that I'm used to so that I can create something new. It's very much a comfort zone, right? Like, you're never going to find wealth in your comfort zone. You're never going to find success in your comfort zone. You're never going to find the job that you want or deserve in your comfort zone. And when you get out of your comfort zone, the ground is shaky, right? You got to be willing to put yourself out on ground that might be a little bit shaky and know that it's going to pay off in the end. I know a lot of people like to make it look like everything is perfect behind the scenes, but baby, no. But I know that where I'm going, I have no doubt about it, that the business that I'm building will be a multi-million-dollar business with several multi-million-dollar assets. But it takes something to build that when you're doing it for the first time. And nobody in your bloodline has ever done that before. But everybody want to present an image that makes it look so cute and curated. It is not like that. Baby, I be struggling sometimes trying to keep it together. So when everybody's talking about, oh, the self-care this, oh, the self-care that, Listen, my self-care gonna have to be a prayer for tonight because that's all I got for you. I don't have time to be doing all that. So I'm rambling at this point, but y'all get where I'm going with it.
Yes.
I had to stop myself.
Right. And someone actually posted something in the chat. I want to take a moment to address it. They took it down, but I saw it. And it was actually it was so what we were creating. And they said, they don't get paid much, but they know they get paid less than what the other people at their job get paid. They want to speak up and ask for more money, but they're afraid that if they do, right, like they'll lose their job.
I saw
Right.
that too.
Saw that. So for whoever posted that, right, look, first of all, the courage it took to put that in here. Thank you. All right. We saw you. All right. We did. And this conversation is so for you because look, even for myself, here's the thing. Until y'all want to know what the biggest thing for me right now is actually establishing my value. See, I am so used to being a paid employee where somebody else tells me how much I'm worth. That's just, you look, you go here, you there, okay, this is what we pay for somebody with your degree coming out of college, whatever. You make between this and this. And that's how you learn your worth. It's your first job, right? So now, without someone actually telling me how much I'm worth, only people asking me if I will charge them less, I'm actually dealing with and confronting us, like establishing that. And look, it's not like a cookie cut. There is no cookie cutter answer for any of this, which is what makes what each one of us does so unique and special, is because we are each trained from different distinctions and places to look in with you in your life. Tasha creates customized plans. Jessica, I am pretty sure, sits down with you and gets even to how long has that plaque been on your teeth for? And when are you going to get it off? Right? You can't smile in front of a board meeting with a bunch of CEOs with yellow teeth. When are you going to schedule a dentist appointment? But literally, like those kinds of things. So, but I do want to speak to what you said, because if you are not clear, whoever put that in there, that what you say your worth is for yourself, you'll not really have a leg to stand on to combat them, to even engage in a conversation. See, I would say, look, I know I do X amount of work and X amount of work. I want a raise. What is it going to take for you to give me a raise? I would start there. And if they say, well, we don't really have money in the budget for it. Okay, great. Well, look, then this is my promise to you, that you give me a raise and you give me these accountabilities. And I promise you that in 3 months' time, whatever, if you're in business, you know what I'm saying, you're in sales and you want to get a promotion look, I will bring in the sales to cover my own raise. But if I do that, then you got to be the one to whatever. But you have no freedom to negotiate. Because look, kids can't negotiate with their parents. It's bedtime. I mean, they cry, but then you go to bed.
You're right.
See, you're not on equal footing with these people that you're there with, and appropriately so, because we're trained they're the boss and we're the followers.
Yeah.
Right. And when it comes to your self-worth and your self-value, as I am dealing with right now, I can't let anybody else pull the reins on this but me. I just can't. I got to be the source of it.
Yes, and they can hold their audacity. Don't ask me to do no stuff for free. Have you lost your mind? You're not going to work for free.
Oh no, let me tell you. So my dad, he just started a new job as a manager, and they wanted him to be, and they wanted him to be like the super manager, right? The manager of the managers. And they wanted him to do this without a pay increase. And they were like, but if you prove yourself, then maybe we'll give you a raise. And he was like, all right. And I said, no, you're going to go back and tell them absolutely not. You do not do more work for no money.
Right. But do you know how hard that is for people to say? Because I think Christine said it too. You're afraid that you're going to lose my job. If you need me more than I need you, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. There's no way.
Exactly what my client said too. She was like, that's why she got fired. Because she spoke up and she spoke out about something.
And that's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible. But that shows you that that was not the company for you to work for. If you're going to fire me for having an opinion and trying to get things to work better, that's your problem. And it's a candidate's market. Shoot.
And I know, people might be listening and thinking like, well, I have bills to pay. I can't afford to be fired from my job.
Mm-hmm.
But that goes back to the question that Christine said in the beginning. It's like, what are you willing to settle for? When I left my job at corporate America, I had to ask myself, what would I be willing to do? And I decided that I'd rather have to live on the side of somebody's beach than work a job that I'm not interested in working for the rest of my life. I'd rather have to make a way. There are beaches in America, and I have a tent. Like, I'll make it do what it do if I have to. But I'm not going to go work for somebody and be miserable every day.
Mm-mm.
So we're not saying that it's easy. We know that it's not easy. We know that you need your job. We know that you need your money. We're just saying that we think that you're worth more than what that job may be offering you. And you might want to take the risk to figure out what you see yourself as being worth. And let you know for yourself that you can demand it and you can command it. Just like these companies have the audacity, we want you to have the audacity.
Period. Point blank.
Pert.
Especially in the candidates market.
Especially. Thank you.
Market. Oh, snatch a new job fast.
Look, here, I'm a shout big out to whoever did this video on that platform. I won't mention because we're not streaming live on them right now, but I saw it on there. And it was, ladies, if you catch your man cheating, like, don't say nothing, because then you're just teaching them how to cheat better, right? Instead, get your exit plan together, start packing your bags, start getting your bank account separate, start getting your money right. Look, y'all need to treat these people like they're a man treating you wrong, or a woman treating you dirty, or whoever you identify as not pulling your rank in the relationship. Bet, you know what? I'm about to have my exit plan. Now, look, if that means I get one less Big Mac a week, that means I get to leave out of here a week early. Yes. Okay. But see, you're now not having a Big Mac. You are now leaving 1 week early. Right? So those sacrifices that you may have to make to get your money right in the event that there is a gap between when you are going to find that next job, or you got to find somewhere sofa. Look at you at the end of your lease. Don't re-sign that new lease. Put your stuff in storage. See if you can go home. Whatever. Look, see, somebody needs a live-in nanny.
Okay.
Right? But here's the thing: you have options. But until you get your worth it, you will never even think you have options.
Or if your options have to look like what other people's options look like.
Yeah.
If you can't go be nobody live-in nanny because you don't see live-in nannies on Instagram, you're gonna have a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have a hard time.
Live your truth. Nobody else's. Plan that exit.
Your truth. Then you get to create a future that most people will never even see. So I do have some homework for you. Number one, I want you to look at the role and the position that you have right now, and I want you to remix it. So take all of that stuff that they have on that, all of the stuff that they try to make it sound so simple and so easy. I want you to update it to some language that really speaks to what you're capable of and what you're doing. So, when they say that you answer the phone, I want you to say, I solve problems for customers and increase brand loyalty and awareness. Like, I want
you streamline the correspondence.
Thank you. Boom, boom. So take that job, take that the roles and responsibilities and remix it so that when people start to read it, they're like, where do you work? I want to work there. I need the skills that you got. So I want you, that's the first assignment, remix the roles and responsibilities. The second thing I want you to do is either think about your exit plan or your next plan. How are you going to exit this position so that you can be in a role where you're actually making enough money to start thinking about real six-figure wealth? If you are not in a position to start thinking about real six-figure wealth, you're not where you need to be right now, period. Us playing below the line, it's just not okay anymore. We're not accepting less than we're worth anymore. And if we're unable to be building six-figure legacies, then what are we even doing? What are we working for? So it's that next plan or the exit plan. any suggestions on how to find language for remixing your roles and responsibilities? Absolutely. So, if you have registered and submitted your email, and I'm going to drop the link for you guys to do that. I know that Christine is offering a free consultation, so we'll send you out an email about that. And then, Jessica, do you have anything like a download or something that you could offer?
Yes, I definitely have a download for you to spice up your language on your resume, so that way you can get an
send that over to me, and then I'll send that out in the group email. So let me drop the link so you guys know where you can register, because we're going to be here. The SixFigure Summit is happening for the next today and for the next 4 days. So every day we're talking about a different topic. All of our experts are talking about something different. If you are not able to see this, don't worry about it. I'm going to hop on YouTube right after this and make sure I drop the link for it. So as we close out, I want you guys to let them know where to find you, and just any last words that you may have.
I'll go. Yeah, sure. So you can find me. You can email me, ChristineOHarris@gmail.com. You can also find me on Facebook at Christine McCormick Harris, or also known as .com coaching. Search me up on Instagram, .com coaching.
Yes. Add me on LinkedIn. Jessica Williams, JMW Career Consultant. You can even look up the Resume Finesser, Job Snatcher. Connect with me. There are, especially if you look for a job, come play with me.
I'm gonna make sure that I put their contact information in the YouTube description. I want you to follow up with them. I want you to make sure that you follow them, get inside their communities. Make sure that you follow me. If you're not following me on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, you can find me at Tasha Kennard. You can search me that way. But I am so grateful. I mean, I had such a good time. I learned so much. I was inspired. I feel motivated. I don't even need a job from nobody, but I still feel motivated to think about my own worth in a different way. So the Gold Chain Society said, I'm most definitely tapping in gratitude. And you guys were absolutely phenomenal. When I was looking for people, and Christine is actually a member of my team, so she's one of my coaches. So, you know, if you are doing our SixFigure boot camp, she is our registration coach. So she makes sure that she gets your registration all together so that you are ready for our program and ready to do it successfully. But the reason I chose these ladies, like, I was looking for people who I know what they're doing, like that the expertise is there and that they know how to go deep beyond the surface, like not just looking at what's right there, but getting to the root of what transformation looks like in your life. Because like I said, this is not no on the surface stuff. This is really life-changing, transformational work that they're doing. And so I thank you guys so much for being a part of this conversation with me today. And I look forward to whatever we do in the future together.
Thank you.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Thank you, Tasha.
All right, you guys. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks again for being here.
You're welcome.
Bye.